You guys for coming. Tonight I'm going to be talking about street gangs and how street gangs can influence everyone and how it's really a big and big issue to the Madison community. And so first of all, I'm going to start off with just a little outline that I did. First, we're going to talk about the definition of street gangs and how people would define what street gang it really is. And next, we're going to talk about the history of street gangs and how they emerged from the early days to today's society. Then we're going to talk about the what I call identifiers, which is how we can identify in a person or individual how they can relate to a street gang or a gang nation. So some of them are like I said, hand gestures, like throwing off signs, clothing style, how they presume themselves as wearing their clothes, tattoos, like some gangs have like specific tattoos on their bodies and stuff like that. And the last but not least is the graffitis, gang graffitis that we see on like just buildings or like abandoned buildings. We see like drawings on the side of the wall, and so yeah, and so that's where go on talking about the genders, how males or females are, which ones are more dominant, males or females, and then we go on to age as how street gangs can influence age as well. All right, the first thing is definition. According to the U.S. Code Statute 52, they define it. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a group of like 5 people or more that are in a club, organization, or association. So it's kind of like if we walk around, we see like a group of 5 or more people are just gathering around. That's considered. I guess that you can say that's considered a gang of people. So what specifically is a gang, a street gang? I have a few that's jotted down here. A street gang means a combination of alliance, network between like 3 or more people. So like if we're like coming to together, it depends on like if we want to do like a structural organization or something like like selling drugs, like in the corner of the street. That's kind of like a structure of alliance and stuff like that. And so the 3 or more people who are involved with criminal activities that may adopt to like symbols, signs, color, depending on their particular group. Also, they recognize the leader of the group as well. They do have it's kind of like a hierarchy kind of type of deal. That's like president, vice president, and all that other. It goes like down the line, and so that they do have some kind of organizational structure, like I said before, and the last but not least, they do like involve like a control over a specific neighborhood, or a corner. There's some gangs that are so big that they even like control the whole entire some even community as well. So that's like something to look for and to have an idea of like what it is. And so all right, history. I don't have evidence of how or like the exact time that that gangs emerged, but I do have that. According to Howell and Moore, they stated that gangs in the United States began with the emergence in the East Coast. So it started like somewhere in the East Coast during the 1783, and so that's like between the end of the American Revolution. And so, and then when it goes on saying the best available suggests that the more serious gangs usually emerge afterwards. So it's kind of like in the early 19th centuries, like you see, like you hear like the mafia, you know, the Chinese triads, or like, you know, the Sopranos. That's more of the earlier gang that kind of emerged that was serious enough, and so so that's, you know, like in the history of how it kind of, I'm assuming that it began, and so some of the types of gangs that we hear like in the news or newspapers or news TVs are, you know, I have some of the names of it, and so the first two are the most famous one, the Crips and Bloods. Those are, you know, like we hear it every day. Even at the Hmong New Year, you know, we do see some there too, and so, and we go on seeing the Black Disciples, I can't pronounce, I think it's Mennonic Latin Disciples, and the Young Guns. So those are, you know, just kind of like names, a couple names. There are tons of names that I can't pronounce, and so this is just a few that, you know, that's easier to pronounce. I have, you know, some of the, like I said, identifiers that, you know, like to identify how they presume themselves. We have like the hand gestures, you know, how the one says bloods, you know, it spelled the word blood on their hands, their fingers, and on the other side, you know, it's kind of same likewise, saying the Crips, showing the C. And other ones, there's like, you know, clothings, tattoos, graffitis. I'm not sure the clothing right there, but the tattoos are, you know, like depending on the gangs, you know, it's like this one is probably like the most popular ones. That's always on their back. We see graffitis on the walls. When you're walking down, like I was saying earlier, you see that, and it's kind of like a representative criminal activity that's been done there. So, all right, so let's start with the hand signs. Most hand signs, they usually, you know, like communicate with others, with their members or other gang-related rivals by, you know, flashing or throwing out their hands. And so the purpose of this is to maybe say like to threaten them, or like to disrespect them by saying like, oh, I'm in this type of gang, so if you mess with me, you're messing with my whole group, so don't mess with me. It's kind of like that, and so, and it also shows like a sign of respect also, and so yeah. So these are just, you know, kind of hand signals that they usually do, and then depending on the gang or how they presume, or depending, they usually have a certain type of hand signs by like identifying themselves as, like as earlier, showing us either a letter or a symbol, or like a color, even color their hands. You know, those are types of you know, signs that, you know, they do to show that, you know, that to mark themselves as a member of a gang. And so clothing. Most clothing, they, you know, are gangs related, that they wear baggy clothes. You will see like they always, how you see like they always wear pants like this low, and like have shirts really long, and so, you know, but most of the people that wear this are not necessarily related to gangs. Maybe they just like wearing it. Maybe just, you know, it's their preference, they like wearing it. So, but it goes on and said that usually baggy pants, it's like a method that they use, you know, to hide like a small handgun, or like to hide like drugs, you know, and the shirts to cover it, it's hard for them to recognize, to identify, say, oh, that person's carrying a gun. And so, and it also shows other people that they're a thug, kind of, you say, like a gangster as well. And so that's why, you know, it's hard to it's hard to portray a person wearing baggy pants, baggy shirts, saying that, oh, you're a gangster, you know, that because you're wearing that. But most often they do wear that, and so yeah. And the next identifier is the tattoos. You know, most tattoos our method of communication and identification. And like I said earlier, how the hand is saying BK it represents blood killer, and so that is kind of like saying that he hates that kind of type of gang. And so most often gangs do want you to write that on your arm if you want to become one of them. And so the other side is like their entire name and symbol as well. Tattoos are used to identify their membership to a certain gang, such as symbols, letters, initials, like nicknames and stuff. Depending on a gang, they do want you to like either mark yourself in a certain a certain area of your body, like the neck, back, legs, stomach, and I think the most famous one I remember one of the instructors showed me is like the tears on the eyes. Yeah, I think that was one of the most popular gang. I can't remember the name, but it's there. So that's like one of the popular ones. And some gangs do require being professionally done, but some do homemade. And so like getting burn marks or like scratches, that's mostly homemade signs. So that's like, and you see that tattoos are becoming more and more frequently. Even though you're not a gang member, like bikers, they do have like tattoos all over their body. That doesn't mean that they're a gang in the gang. So graffiti is one of the most common that we see, like just walking like in buildings. I see it every day when a train drives by. I see like they'll be writing all over the trains. That's like kind of type of graffiti that most criminals or most gang activities are being done. Well, I have the definition is by writing, drawing over a surface of wall in a public place. And so graffiti is also used as a form of communication with members or other gang members as well. There are many types of graffitis that are being done. Most of them are usually the territorial type that shows the boundaries of their turf, most likely. And so if you're walking in the street or in a corner and you see like the big sign, you see like graffiti all over, that's a sign saying that that's their turf. And so if you trespass, they are most likely to like protect their turf. And so that can cause injury or even death to a person. And so other use is like saying throwing writing symbols, like I said, the symbols, gang, the name, the letters of the gangs. It may challenge other gang members, so that it's kind of like I'm tougher. Our gang is more powerful than yours, and so you can't challenge me. It's kind of like disrespect too. You drawing over their sign or their symbol. It's showing they're disrespecting to you, and it also shows like the presence of their gang and how the street gang is strong and tough, and so that it shows to others that to fear us, to fear the other gangs as well. And so graffiti is like one of the biggest issue that police department do come across as well. As far as gender, it's most likely it's male dominance, and female are like the subordinates kind. And so every now and then you do see kind of like a female dominant gang also, but according to the National Youth Gang Survey Analysts, they did a study in 1998 through 2010. Sorry about that. Females only made up of 8% of the gang, while as males made up of about 93. So that's like a big number. So that's pretty much explanatory that in street gangs, male are more dominant than females. As street gangs become more influenced, ages as well are influenced to join as well. So according to Madison, she states that in places with gangs, between 6 and 30% of youth may join street gangs at some point of time during their adolescence years. That's like 13 through 15 years, and so they only join only for like a few, like a short period of time, because during that time it's like they feel they want to be like popular or like be more awesome, or be more confident in themselves. So that's where they usually join the gang to feel that. And when they grow older, they become mature, and so they have that the mentality saying, oh, this is not for me, this lifestyle is not for me. So we go on and saying, according to the National Youth Survey, shows that in 1996, about 50% of all members of gang were juveniles, and while the other half of 50% are adults. And so that's like taking 10 people, and 5 of them are under the age of 18, while 5 are over the age of 18. So that's like a big number. That kids are very influenced by these street gangs. And so, but in 2011, the number of juveniles dropped from 50 to 35, while the number of adults increased from 50 to 65. And so, like I was saying earlier, that when they grow older, they become more mature, and they find that this lifestyle is not for them. They got a whole life ahead of them, so they tend to stray away from the gang lifestyle. While the adults, they're thinking like, this is my lifestyle already. I'm in it, to the death. So that's why it's more higher than the juveniles. And so as street gangs are continuing to grow, children are more likely to be involved as well. There are so many children that are exposed to the lifestyle of gangs, and so that's why it's hard to teach children that gangs are not good, and so it says in today's children are exposed to the cultures of the gangs, and so they're more likely to have that mentality to act on violence and become more violently, have that personality, and it's hard because they look up to people who are involved in street gangs, who are members of street gangs. So it's hard to teach them that, and so that's why it says here, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, research they did in 2011. In 2009, the total gang member during that year was 1 million. Yeah, and then so about 40% were under the age of 18, and 8% were females that were under the age of 18. So if you take that number and 40%, that's I'm saying that's a pretty good, big number of kids who are gang members. And so and street gangs are continue to influence young children to be involved in that, and throughout the community. And fortunately, in Madison, we do have that too. We have gangs here. According to the Crime Prevention Gang Unit, in November of 2010, the Madison Police Department reported approximately 1,150 confirmed gang members, and about 2,300 of them were associated throughout the Dane County, and that lives in the Dane County area. That's a big number, just here alone. And 61%, it goes on saying 61% reported that they witnessed like gang fights inside the schools, and so that's, like I said, it happens during the school years, and so we see that it's becoming more and more of an issue for the police department to crack down these gang members. And so here I have a picture of a group of just a group of people who are together. They are in a gang called Gangster Disciples, and what started was these gangs. The history of it was this guy named Larry Hoover, who entered this gang. Where he started as a newcomer, and he rose to the top. He became one of the greatest leaders for this particular game. And in 1993, he hosted a picnic in Illinois, and about 10,000 members attended that picnic. And so that's like a big number, 10,000. And so that's that's why we have, fortunately we have it here. We have some of them here in Madison as well. Which that concludes my presentation. But just to let you guys know that street gangs do happen every day, and we do see it every day, even in newspapers. So we, well, this presentation, I want you guys to at least learn that some of the identifiers, such as the clothing styles, symbols, coloring of their clothing as well, or their tattoos, hand signs, graffitis. Just to help you guys avoid the the potential of harming yourself or harming your family. And so it is, if you guys do identify them, do understand and know like the identifiers, it does help a lot too, to help the police department to crack down and help stop or help reduce the activities of street gangs that's happening all around the world, here in Madison as well. So, and again, so I thank you guys. So I hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoy this. And thank you guys for being here. All right.
Yay.